Good morning, my friends. I'm here with Olive today and Daddy Ruff Ruff and Mama Bunny, and we're going to read Ferdinand, one of my favorite books. And it was written a long time ago by Wee Gillis, also by Monroe Leaf, and illustrated by Robert Lawson. It was written in 1936. Wow. That's a long time. Once upon a time in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. I'll show you after all.
Let's see it.
You could sit up closer if you want to see. Bring the chair up closer. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. But not Ferdinand. He just liked to sit quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree.
What are cork
I'll
trees?
show you one when we go for a walk. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. Don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head, she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. I like it better here, when I could just sit quietly and smell the flowers. His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. His mommy would mark the tree just like we mark the wall with your height and Will's height, right? And there's a vulture on top of that tree stump. And all the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. They thought that was cool. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to just sit quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. And all the other bulls ran around snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think they were very, very strong and fierce and pick them. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would just sting him, and that's just what this bee did to Ferdinand. Wow, did it hurt! Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around, puffing and snorting, butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. There you just see his feet in the air. And he was going bazats because it hurt. The 5 men saw him, and they shouted with joy. He was the biggest, fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. So they took him away for the bullfight in a day cart. What a day it was. Flags were flying, bands were playing. And all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. They had a parade in the bull ring. First came the banderillos with long sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick the bull and make him mad. That just doesn't seem right, does it? Next came the picadores, who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bull and make him madder. Ay, 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 I don't like that sport. Doesn't seem fair. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. I am the matador. I am the finest bullfighter in all of Madrid. Yes, I am wonderful. I kiss myself. He doesn't really say that. Then came the bull, and you knew who that was, didn't you? Ferdinand. Oh, poor Ferdinand. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the banderillos were afraid of him, and the picadores were afraid of him, and the matador was scared stiff. Ay, 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 caramba, I am afraid. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. And the crowd was going wild. What does the crowd sound like? I can't really do it, but you could imagine it was loud. But not
like
Ferdinand. Like at a baseball game. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers in all the lovely ladies' hair. And he just sat down quietly and...
Smell.
Can you make a smell sound? Oh, smell the flowers.
I always imagine, like, when you smell flowers, them going up.
He wouldn't fight and be fierce. No matter what they did, he just sat and smelled. And the banderillos were mad, and the picadores were madder, and the matador was so mad. he cried because he couldn't show off with his cape and his sword. Wah. So they had to take Ferdinand home. And for all I know, he is sitting there under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. He is very happy.
And all the other bowls might get picked.
The end. Bye guys. Hope you like that one.